All right, today we are diving deep into the most incredible machine on the entire planet, your own brain. We're going to talk about how you can actually hack it, how you can go from feeling like your emotions are in the driver's seat to finally grabbing the wheel yourself.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever just completely lost it? You know, that moment where you overreact, just completely blow up, and then, like a second later, the dust settles and you're just standing there thinking, oh man, why did I do that?
We've all been there, right?
Well, believe it or not, there's a name for that experience. And just understanding what it is, that's the first huge step toward taking back control. It's called an emotional hijack.
Yeah, the psychologist Daniel Goleman actually coined that term. And you can think of it like this. It's basically a hostile takeover happening inside your own head. Your emotional brain, which is all about speed and survival, it reacts so fast that your rational brain, well, it doesn't even get a chance to try them in. It's a total coup. Feeling just steamrolls right over thinking.
Okay, so here's how that chain reaction works. Something happens. That's the stimulus, right? Like someone cuts you off in traffic. That immediately triggers an emotion, like a flash of pure rage. And that leads directly to an action. Maybe you lay on the horn or yell something you probably shouldn't. The hijack happens because that whole process short-circuits your rational brain. It skips the part that might have said, hey, you know what, just let it go.
So what is actually going on up there that lets this happen? Well, it all boils down to our brain's built-in alarm system. It's an ancient system, and it's really designed for one thing, keeping us alive.
See, it's like we've got two different minds that are always running. You've got the amygdala, your emotional brain. It is blazing fast. It's pure instinct, and its main job is threat detection. It's where that fight, flight, or freeze response comes from. But then you've got the neocortex. That's your rational brain. It's slower, it's thoughtful, it likes to analyze things and consider the context. An emotional hijack is simply a victory of speed over logic. The fast brain wins.
And this is a perfect way to picture it. You've got this constant negotiation going on between the part of you that feels and the part of you that thinks. In a hijack, that feeling brain doesn't just win the argument. It kicks the door down and takes over the whole operation before the thinking brain can even get a word in. So the amygdala's job is to be our bouncer, our security guard at the door. It's scanning everything we experience every single second, and it's asking one simple question over and over. Is this a threat? Could this hurt me? Now, this was absolutely essential for our ancestors, when a rustle in the bushes could mean a predator. But in our modern world, it can be a little jumpy.
And here's the thing about the amygdala's memory. It is incredibly powerful, but it's not very smart. One source uses the great word tosco, which basically means crude or rough. So if a wasp stings you just one time, your amygdala can log that forever as buzzing sound equals pain and danger. It doesn't know the difference between that wasp and a totally harmless housefly. It just hears a buzz and sounds the 5-alarm fire. Okay, so that's the problem. That's the hijack. So how do we actually fight back against these super fast, kind of dumb, automatic responses? Well, the answer lies in building up a different kind of intelligence. Emotional intelligence.
And here's Goleman again, breaking it down for us.
This isn't about getting rid of your emotions or suppressing them. No way. It's about understanding them, really getting to know them, and then using that understanding to help guide how you think and how you act. Now, emotional intelligence, or EQ, is built on these 5 core pillars. And they really build on each other in a logical way. It all has to start with you, with self-awareness, just knowing what you're feeling. Once you know what's going on, then you can work on self-regulation, or managing those feelings. Then you can use those managed emotions for motivation. And only once you've got your own house in order can you really turn outwards and use empathy and social skills to build great relationships. Think of it like a ladder. You can't just jump to the top rung, right? You can't really be great at social skills if you don't have empathy. And you can't truly have empathy for others if you haven't figured out how to manage yourself first. The whole journey, it all starts with that very first step, looking in the mirror. So how do we start climbing that ladder? Well, the work starts inside. It's like going to the gym, but for your mind. We have to build up the mental muscles that give our rational brain a fighting chance against that lightning-fast amygdala. Our first tool in the gym is mindfulness.
This is all about paying attention to right here, right now, without judging it. And what this does is absolutely crucial. It creates a little bit of space, a tiny pause between the thing that happens and your automatic reaction. And in that tiny little gap, that's where you find your freedom. That's where you get the power to choose a better response. Okay, tool number 2 is something called cognitive restructuring. I love this one. This is where you basically become a detective for your own thoughts. You learn how to spot those automatic, distorted, irrational thoughts that trigger the hijack, and then you challenge them. You put them on trial. So let's say you make a mistake at work, and your brain immediately screams, "I'm so useless. I mess everything up." That's when you, the detective, step in and ask this question. Okay, hold on. What is the actual hard evidence that I have to support that thought? You cross-examine it. And what you'll find most of the time is that big, scary, negative thought, it's got nothing. No evidence to back it up. It's just a feeling.
Now, building your emotional intelligence isn't just a quiet internal exercise. You got to take these skills out for a spin in the real world. You have to practice. And trust me, it can actually be kind of fun.
The source material gave us some really cool, practical games you can play. Try this one, the Emotional Dictionary. Next time you feel something, don't just stop at, "I'm angry." Get specific. Are you annoyed? Are you frustrated? Resentful? Betrayed? The more specific your vocabulary, the more power you have over the feeling. Or try keeping an emotional diary for just 1 week. Write down what you felt, what triggered it, and how you reacted. It's an amazing way to build that foundational self-awareness.
And what about motivation? This little cartoon just nails it. We all think that we need to feel motivated before we can act, but it's almost always the other way around. Taking action is what creates the feeling of motivation. Just taking that one tiny little step up the ladder, even from "I won't do it" to just "I can't do it," that starts to build the momentum you need to get all the way to the top.
This quote, this really just reframes the whole thing perfectly, doesn't it? For a long time, maybe you felt like the prey, just being hunted by your own feelings, your anxiety, your anger. But developing your emotional intelligence, that gives you the tools you need to finally turn the tables. And if you want to tame that amygdala, you have to remember this. It doesn't listen to reason. You can't talk it down. It only understands emotion and action. So if you run away from a feeling, you're just teaching your brain, "Yep, that was a real threat." The only way to retrain it is to switch from fleeing to fighting. You stand your ground, you face the feeling, you claim your territory, and you show your brain, through your actions, who is actually in charge here. You become the predator.
And that really brings us to our final thought for today. Mastering your emotions isn't some neat little psychological trick. It is a life-changing skill. It changes your relationships, your career, your peace of mind, everything. So I'm going to leave you with this one question to really think about. Thanks so much for tuning into The Explainer.